when you share your idea with people, you actually attract the right people towards you, telling the same story or readapting this concept in their own way. I think that to me is like success. If there's no competition, people get lazy. Or people get complacent. There's a huge gap between what you learn in school versus what you learn in the real world. Once the second video went viral, that's when I kind of built that confidence that that this can be a full-time career and this is something that I could make money from. I believe the human potential is enormous, and sometimes we are limited to what we do by the profession that we choose.
Welcome to the Mindful Dream podcast, all about how to not lose sight of what's really important while chasing your dreams. Today's guest is Rohit Jethwani, who's an actor, choreographer and dancer. He's currently in Mumbai, working on a Bollywood film as an assistant director for Karin Johar. For the non-Indian people out there, that's a really big deal. Rohit's gone viral many times on Instagram for his dancing, and if you watch it yourself, I'm sure you'll fall in love with his infectious, joyful style. After studying in the United States, he moved back to India and moved to Mumbai so he could chase his dream of becoming a Bollywood superstar. And I'm not going to bet against him. Hope you enjoy listening today. Welcome to Mindful Driven, Rohit. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Well, thank you so much, man. I'm super excited for this podcast. I'm super excited why you started this podcast, and I think why you started this podcast really drives me here. So I'm excited to take this forward.
Yeah, and you've got such an amazing story. I can't wait to get into the details of it. But let's start off with, what's some common advice you got along the way to your success that you really disagree with?
Well, I think a lot of people have told me in the past that, don't share your idea, it's a secret. And, sure, I do believe in intellectual property and I do believe in like patents. But what I've also noticed in the past is when you share your idea with people, you actually attract the right people towards you. I remember this one incident when I just came back to India. It was during COVID. I think it was like 1 month before like March 2020 when COVID just blew out of proportion. And that's when the first lockdown happened in India. I was looking to build a studio, like a proper dance studio there where you can create unreal content and you can also have the best teachers from the community coming and teaching you. One thought in my head was, well, I don't want to share this idea with anybody because I feel what we were trying to do was different in my city and like no one had really done it before. So I believe that it would do very well. But then I also at the same time also struggled to build a team. But I'm just like, okay, let me just take a step back. I'm just going to go bazooka and just share my idea with like tens and thousands of people from the community. I don't care if people copy it. I don't care if people execute the same thing. But what is actually going to do for me is actually attract the right people to me. And in fact, I found like a co-founder. I found the right teachers. I found like a studio manager like within the first week. And it wouldn't have happened otherwise, if I just kept this to myself. Because these people are like, I dig the vision. I love what you want to do. Or, I love the, passion towards creating a studio in the city because nothing like what you're doing exists over here. I'm on board. I want to be part of this vision and create it with you. And I'm like, there you go. That's my answer. So I do believe that everyone should, I feel like, maybe half the world would be saying, do not share your idea. But I guess I lie on the other half of the world where I'm just like, it's okay, share your idea because the other people may not execute the way you execute it, even if they kind of, understand your vision behind it. So go ahead, go share the idea. And I think it will always attract the right people towards you to build your dream forward.
I know somebody who's like in the dance world as well. And they started an online class at the beginning of the pandemic. And they thought they were the first person to do it. So they got annoyed that other people were copying their idea. It's like, it's not your idea to have online classes, but people can get very protective when they think of something. And it's like, well, it's the entire world. It's like, if there's an idea that's helping people, then isn't it a good thing if other people do it too? So, yeah, let's say with your dance studio, let's say somebody else in another part of the country or another part of the world decided, let's do the same thing. That's good, right? Because then there's more people who are getting involved in the community and sharing what they love.
No, 100%. I guess like there was this one more video that we had done. It was to the song Tera Rang Bale Bale. And it was this workshop video where there was boys versus girls, typical Sangeet battles where you see like the groom family and the bride family kind of battling at like the Sangeet performance night. And we took that concept and we brought it to workshop dance videos. And we saw a lot of other people doing it. So initially, a lot of my team members were like, well, they're copying us. But I guess like that also rubbed off on me a little bit. Well, someone's copying the idea. But then later I was just like, well, I should be a lot more happy because someone a lot more established than us is actually inspired by our work and actually recreating in their own way or like telling the same story or readapting this concept in their own way. And I think that to me is like success, or that to me is a sense of achievement and happiness as someone who is just starting out in the dance world. So no, I agree with you. I think if more people do it, you're just spreading the same love for everybody else. But at the end of the day, it's a business, so you always want to get like a little higher than the other person. So
I think it's also about the competition side as well. So one part of my background is I used to do karate. So I used to be in the national squad for karate, and I'd be training with the same people who'd also be going for the same gold medals that I was going for. Now, what we did is we made each other better in training. We purposely told each other what their weaknesses were, because then if eventually we won, it meant they were beating people at their very best. And I think it's the same in any creative industry. It's like you don't want to hold back your secrets because then you can be the best. Because if you make other people better too, then they make you better and everybody gets better. And especially in the creative industry, it's like if somebody else does a dance to the same song that you've done and they do it better than you, that's inspiration for you to become even better.
yeah,
And
no, 100% agree.
before we started talking on this podcast as well, you mentioned how you've moved to Bombay now. And part of that reason is because you're surrounded by people who you think are better than you, more intelligent than you, and smarter in different ways. And that means that you can learn. And it's exactly the same thing from what you're sharing in terms of the secrets there, is that you're getting better because there's other people who are ahead of you. So when you're ahead of other people, you can help raise them up too.
No, I super agree. I think there's this one saying that the government always has, that is, the government loves competition in any industry, because if there's no competition, people get lazy. It's or people get complacent, And I think like they may just be okay with producing average quality work while still enjoying like benefits of being like a top player in the industry. So the government loves competition on any space because it's just making people become much better at what they do. I guess like in some spaces, even in the art industry, while I believe that every like every individual is different because every artist is different, and I feel like there's no comparison really between two people because one's known for someone, the other one's known for someone. But at the end of the day, you may just be fighting for a similar role or a similar opportunity. I think that's where the competition really comes in. And it's okay, man. You can either see competition as like, I think jealousy may be a very common factor that you see through like through your contemporaries in the same business. But I feel like you could either use that jealousy to convert that into inspiration, or you could just use that jealousy to convert that into insecurity. So I think it's just like a battle that you have to make a conscious decision towards, because jealousy is a natural human phenomenon. But can you convert that to inspiration, or do you want to still like let that make you feel insecure? I try to move towards like, okay, I want to be inspired by this person because what they've done is something phenomenal, and I think they will drive me forward to take the next step and become better.
I think one of the worst things is when people get annoyed at other people. And let's say they get annoyed that somebody's copied their idea. But the only person that affects negatively is themselves, because they're the ones stressed out about it. They're the ones who feel bad about it. The person who's been inspired by them, they're happy. They're doing something that they love. So it only hurts you if you have this anger with you, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think you just become your own victim and then you just kill yourself. I feel like there's this popular saying: either kill your victim or kill your growth. And I think I just stick by that so much that you just have to use it as an inspiration and not as an insecurity when you move forward.
You didn't start off like full-time creative, right? Like you started off with, so you went to university and you studied business, I believe, and then you went into like a corporate job in some way. And then you quit. So how was that decision to make the leap into, because now it seems like incredible to me that you were doing anything that wasn't creative, because you seem like such a natural in what you're doing and like you've gained so many fans and followers. But that wasn't always the case, right? You didn't want to initially do that. You didn't think you could make it as a full-time creator.
Yes, 100%. Because I think I come from a Sindhi family. So let's be real. Sindhi means dhanda, in other words, means business. So, and I guess like if you're from a Sindhi family, you need to know how to manage money well, or you need to know how to use your money well. So I guess like a huge part about me also was that I love dancing. It's been a passion for many years. I love acting. It's been a passion for many years. I just love the state of performance, and like I love the, like the process of actually getting there. We can actually put up a performance for an audience where they can get inspired from, and that sense of joy is beyond any monetary gain that I have had in my life in the past. But when I was graduating from college, one thing always stuck to me was that, can I actually make money from my passion? I always thought my passion was just a hobby I could like enjoy, experience until college got over. And beyond that, I just had to get back to something that would actually be a financially stable career for me. So my first job was in education. I was still excited about the education industry because I believe that what you in fact learned in school, there's a huge gap between what you learn in school versus what you learn in the real world. And so I was passionate about bridging that gap and building a university in India that doesn't have grades, that doesn't have assignments, that has like real world projects, has actual feedback that you've been given by people, etc. For example, if you're doing like a course in web design, there's someone who's an actual web designer coming and teaching you web design, and you're allowed to make projects and you're supposed to make different web pages per week. So I feel like I got super passionate about the education space, and that was my first job. But while being on my first job, I don't want to stay disconnected to dance, because I think that also gave me a sense of joy and passion, and I didn't want to stay disconnected. I wanted to keep on dancing. So once college got over, there was no platform really to dance, because in college your platform is like college competitions and stage and stuff. And around me, I saw a lot of people uploading dance videos on Instagram. This is around like the 2017, 2018, 2019 era, where like content creators blew up. And when I saw people like uploading a lot of stuff on Instagram, I'm like, oh wow, this is the platform. Instagram has now become the platform which is not just local, but has become a global stage for you to perform. So I ended up uploading a couple videos too, because I was super inspired by the people around me. And the second video that I uploaded went viral. It went so viral that like TikTok page on TikTok posted it. It had like 50 plus million views on YouTube. I think they were like, in India, WhatsApp forwards the things. A lot of these aunties had WhatsApp forwards completely of this video. And it was so funny that my mom received a WhatsApp forward from some random auntie to my own mom, be like, look who this person is. And my mom's like, that is my child. So like things did very well. I think like once the second video went viral, that's when I kind of built that confidence that that this can be a full-time career, and this is something that I could make money from. So I guess it was a sign. I think the world keeps on giving you signs. So I just took this as a big sign, because at the same time things were going downhill with my relationship between my co-founder and me, which is like the co-founder of the company I was working at, and me. And so like, things were going downhill over there, and things were like going uphill with content and dance in the creative industry. I thought it's a perfect sign, and I didn't think twice about the risk I was going to take of quitting my sustainable job and pursuing a career in the performing arts.
And have you regretted that at all since you made that decision?
Never in my life. I'm happy. It's the happiest life I'm living right now, and I guess this is something I've always wanted to do, and I consider myself really fortunate to be able to pursue my passion professionally, because I don't think a lot of people get a chance to do that.
How have you found it since becoming like a full-time creator? So, well, you're now working as an assistant director on a movie, right? So you said that was a bit of an adjustment too, because you're going from full-time being your own boss and doing things on your own terms to now working for somebody else, and it's still in the creative industry and you're going to be learning a lot, but it's slightly different to what you were doing before, right? And you've moved out to Bombay to do that.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was, while COVID happened, obviously my plans to build a studio came to a complete standstill, because it didn't make any sense investing so much money to build a space when you could not really host offline events, like in this case dance workshops or teaching or content training, right? Or content creation, right? And from then onwards, I just focused on creating a lot of content on Instagram. And to my surprise, one of my videos was seen by Karin Johar, who's the owner of Dharma Productions and also a fantastic filmmaker. And he ended up following me on Instagram. And I didn't know for the first 10 days that he followed, until like one of my other friends from LA was just like, why didn't you tell us that Karan Johar follows you on Instagram? And I'm just like, well, I didn't know. I genuinely didn't know, because I was just so busy creating so much content that I didn't check my notifications enough. And then finally, when I went to his profile, there was a follow back button, and I'm just like, oh damn, I need to follow him back. And then obviously dropped him a message. And when I dropped him a message, he's like, we should catch up. And then when we caught up, he's like, what do you want to do? So I said that I want to act and choreograph, but obviously not just on Instagram or for Instagram or creating content for the audience over here, but I want to act and choreograph in films. And films has always been a childhood dream. Like this is the largest form or the biggest form of media and entertainment in the world. And this is where I want to be. I think this is being on the big screen is always exciting, or doing things with bigger budgets and bigger production houses has always been a super exciting journey to take. And I told him that this is what I want to do. And he said, well, you just need to, be on a film set. You need to learn camera. You need to be an assistant director for one film. Then he gave examples like Ranbir Kapoor, give examples like Varun Dhawan, Siddharth Malhotra, Hrithik Roshan, Abhishek Bachchan. All these people have been assistant directors before they actually went out to do what they wanted to do, which is eventually act on screen. So yeah, that you just need one film experience, and then from there you can take it forward of like how you're going to shape your current film. So well, I knew it was going to be a massive shift from content to film. I knew it was going to maybe make me lose followers. I knew it was maybe going to have much less engagement on Instagram than I currently do. Oh, sorry, like I knew it was going to be it. We'll cut this out, but I knew I was going to lose followers. I knew my engagement was going to drop significantly compared to what it used to be back in the day. But I'm just like, it's okay, like life is about taking risks. You just need to take a risk. And this very common saying, "Kuch paane ke liye kuch khona padta hai." So I guess like I just kept that in mind, and I'm just like, like eventually I want to work towards a bigger dream, which is like work in films. And things may be at a standstill with Instagram, but I guess it's taken me one step forward to where I want to be in the world of films and the film industry. It also kind of reminds me of this one saying that my friend told me. He's like, it's okay to take a standstill because sometimes you may need to recoil in order to leap further. And I think that saying has always just, driving me forward since I heard that.
Hi everyone, I hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I want to take a quick break to ask you to check in on yourself. There's many people struggling with balance, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. The tips that my guests and I share can hopefully help you along the way, but if you already feel overwhelmed or burnt out, it's probably best that you ask somebody for help too. For some, this might be a friend or family member, but others might feel like they have nobody they can talk to. If you're one of these people, check out the link in the show notes. It's for United for Global Mental Health. They've got helplines all across the world with people willing to listen on the other side. It's important to let somebody know how you're feeling. Now, back to the show. For people listening who aren't aware of who Karin Johar is, so if you're from like the Western audience, I'm trying to think of a good way to explain how big it is. So let's say, I'd say the number one chat show in India, here's the host, right? Would you say it's the number one show?
Well,
Coffee with Karin?
Number one chat show in India, but I think Coffee with Karan works is because he's been one of the biggest filmmakers or like ever in India.
It's kind of like the equivalent of almost like Steven Spielberg or something like that. Like it's absolutely massive for him to find you and reach out to you. And some of the people you mentioned as well about people who were assistant directors who then became actors, the people you mentioned are some of the biggest stars in Bollywood. So if you haven't heard of them, like you can check them out afterwards, we can drop links, but it's a really big deal for you to be working on a Karan Johar film. And it's, if you check out Rohit's page after this, you'll see why, because you can see like how infectious his energy is in his dancing. And it makes it understandable to me why such a big film director would reach out to you. But like that must have just been when you're looking for signs of like, is this the right career for me? Like, have I made the right choice? To get that kind of validation must have just been massive for your confidence.
100%. I think it's like a cross pollination of luck, fortune, destiny, hard work, talent. I think all meeting together in one place. I guess there is, like I do believe when stars do align, but I guess it's just a start. So I definitely don't want to jinx anything moving forward. It's just a start. It's I guess my favorite thing to say is it's just always the beginning because there's always so much to grow and so much to learn. And I don't want to ever take any opportunity for granted, or I don't want to ever be in a space where I'm taking the network that I built or like the connection that I built so far. I don't want to be in an opportunity where we'll cut this out. But anyway, so I don't want to be in a space where I'm taking anything for granted, where there's the opportunities or the people that I actually meet with. So I just want to find a way to keep growing, keep learning, keep working hard. Like I guess, like the sky's the limit.
So at the moment, are you still working on the film at the moment, or is that finished now? Is that wrapped up?
We're still working on the film. So I joined about a year ago. I joined July 2021, somewhere around my birthday. So when I was 25, I think the film is going to end somewhere in August 2022. So I think slightly over a year for the film, to be completely finished. But I think we're going to end in a couple of months.
That's a long time for a film recording, right?
It's insane. Like I can't even explain. Like the scale of this film is insane because I think the reason why so much it's taking so long because we're not shooting like some Avengers heavy action oriented, heavy VFX oriented film. We just shooting like a living room drama. It's not even that hectic, but it's a rom-com, which is a romantic comedy. But I guess the reason why the film becomes so long because we have so many locations. So the minute we switch a location, it becomes a new shooting day because we can't travel and shoot on the same day. And so I guess for that reason, there's just so many locations. I think there are like over like 100 locations if I'm not mistaken. So we always just like shooting and moving, shooting and moving. So I guess that's the reason why it's taking so long. And also the scale of the film is huge. Like if you're shooting a song, it's not like 30 dancers in a song. It's like 600 dancers in a song. So
Are
so
you appearing as a dancer as well in the film?
no, I'm just an assistant director. Yeah.
Okay, but like that's the is that so? Once this film is wrapped up, what's the kind of next steps for you? What are you planning to do?
Well, so while the film is still happening, I'm currently training as an actor. I'm currently trying to audition as in as many spaces as I can. The idea is to choreograph for movies, and the idea is to act on and be on the big screen one day. So I'll do whatever it takes to get there. I don't know what's going to happen because I think the creative industry is filled with opportunities, and you don't know what a call that comes in tomorrow is going to change your life. Like how a call is going to be made to you tomorrow is going to change your life. So considering the fact that opportunities are always coming and it's always going, nothing's ever certain. So I feel I don't want to plan too ahead, but I know the vision that I'm kind of going towards is, which is acting in movies and choreographing for films.
Because obviously acting can be quite a difficult career as well. Because, like you said, like you're moving around a lot. There can be long times on sets. What's the kind of ideal balance you want in the future? Like, would you want to be doing lots of films, lots of different things, like you said about your dance studio? Do you still want to do that as well? Build a dance studio space where you can have different people coming in. What's kind of the dream going forwards?
To be honest, before I entered the creative industry as a content creator slash dancer slash actor slash choreographer, I was heavily involved into entrepreneurship, and I guess that was a huge reason also to go, kind of build my own university. Was I want to go build a space that actually where people, where we can bridge the gap between school and the real world. And I was heavily inspired by Shark Tank, and I guess that's what also got me hooked to the idea of entrepreneurship. So my ideal, or not ideal career path, but a career path that I do resonate with is someone like Ashton Kutcher, where he was an actor before, but then eventually ended up being like moving on towards being an entrepreneur slash venture capitalist. And I feel like that's the kind of combination I want to have eventually. So right now I'm just focused on acting and choreographing because I do think being an actor has a shelf life, just like any other athlete does. So I want to do focus on that, and then the idea is, once that is established, um, then the idea is to probably like go out, build a studio, become a judge on a TV show, maybe produce your own show. I don't know. There are like endless opportunities. Maybe build a business, maybe like relive my education dream, and like maybe build a university around it that also has a creative industry as like a course that you could take in. So I guess like there's so many things that I do want to do eventually, but as of now, my focus is to be an actor and choreographer. That's like the short term focus.
But I also can't imagine you being a venture capitalist and stopping dancing. So you'll be doing venture capital, you'll be doing business, whatever, but you're not going to stop dancing, right?
I will never stop dancing. I guess is the idea of like doing like there are I think about 7 to 8 things that I really want to do in my life, but step by step. I guess like the best advice someone has always given me, or I guess most people always give me, is like you can do everything you want, but you have to do it step by step. You have to master one. Once is mastered, then you got to move on to the next. And then once the next one's mastered, then you have two things stable at the same time. Then you can move on to the next. So I guess I want to take it step by step, and let's see where it goes. Like I don't know what's going to happen next week. I can't think about what's going to happen 10 years from now. But there are a lot of things I want to do in life. Yeah.
Because you've been dancing your entire life, right? So it's a hobby on the side, then you did competitions at university. Now it was in content creation. Now it's going to be in movies. And then it's almost poetic in a way that you're going to go back to making it a hobby potentially in the future, where you've got your business and the other things on the side. But like the one constant throughout your entire life is going to be dancing. And it's going to have different meanings to you at different times. But you're always going to have that joy going through your life.
100%. I guess it's beautiful to experience it in different spaces and times, because I guess when it was a hobby, it meant something to me. When it was in competitions, it did mean something to me. And I think now when I want to really be a choreographer in films, or even be a performer as an actor slash dancer on the big screen in the Hindi film industry, it means something else to me. So I guess like it's just so funny because whatever you said, just like really just hits something really hard on the like hard on the head of the nail, because I never thought about this before, but now when I think about this, the idea of dance actually means a lot to me, and I think like it's changed, throughout like different times. But one thing that has always stayed common is that it's given me a sense of joy that maybe some other activity might have not be, might have not given me.
How have you found the transition from when it was just a hobby to being a job, part of your job, in whether it's acting or content creation? Did you find there was more pressure? Because, and this happened to me, for example, with writing. Once it became my full-time job, then I felt more pressure to be good at writing. Do you feel that at all, or is it just the love for what you do just overwhelms it? Or have you dealt with the pressure you've had?
It's a very good question. Never really thought about it before, because I guess the sense of pressure hasn't really kicked in yet. Maybe when I was creating a lot of content at one point of time, people were always looking forward to the next video. So I guess the only thing in my head was, how can I make this one better than the previous one? And that's the only thing I only cared about and thought about. I didn't care about anything else. I didn't care about whether it was good, whether it was bad. I just wanted to level up. And I guess maybe always thinking about growing and like going one up from the previous video kind of help me take the pressure off me, um, but also help me like combat to the pressure a little better than otherwise, or like then because I think in this space I was very focused on what I want to do, but I guess like if I didn't have a sense of direction, I think the sense of anxiousness and the pressure would really get to me, and maybe not let me create the best work possible. But I think just thinking about the one thing that I only have to grow and I only have to do better and I only have to get it better than the previous one, got me driving forward and made me combat pressure.
What do you think is the best thing about like the choice you made in life now? Because for me, like the biggest thing I've done is by becoming a full-time creative, I've met so many amazing people, and I imagine it's probably quite similar for you because I've just seen like the amount of people you've collaborated with, and it just seems so like amazing. You're kind of living out your dream in a way.
Very true. I guess like a huge part about like doing this professionally is also that the the people that once you looked up to are also now your friends, and you also get a chance to connect with them, and also kind of learn from them, and also kind of just understand how they work, how their mind works, what kind of lifestyle do they live, and you're also dealing with some of the people in the industry that who've literally defined entertainment in India, or literally are the reason for why people enjoy movies so much, and I guess like just being around them and being able to connect with them, chat with them, and really like dive into their mind is the biggest benefit from this opportunity. Just like you, like I'm sure you'd have had the same feeling of when you were kind of going through the transition of making a passion your profession as a full-time content writer slash content creator. You've also had the opportunity to connect with people, and I guess like mine would be the same, because I believe that one big reason for humans to be happy is actually connecting with people, and actually building quality relationships. I mean, I guess we're social animals for a reason, right? So I think building quality relationships is something that really makes me happy. It's something I'm a sucker for. So being able to be build these relationships with top level dogs in the industry is definitely a huge benefit.
Yeah, and like for the people listening today, what's one mindset shift you think they could make that would make a positive difference to their lives?
Well, I guess like this is something that my brother always used to tell me, that um, always think about the bigger picture, because every time I'm going through a down phase in life, or every time I'm irritated about something and I really want to give a bashing to someone in the face, or I really want to like say my 2 cents to someone and give it back to him or her. My brothers always calm me down and being like, listen, think about 5 years from now, is this going to make a difference to your life? You know, and if it doesn't make a difference to your life, just leave it. If it makes a difference to your life, work towards it. And I guess like that one question just keeps on, make me, like keeps on making me think that it's just about the bigger picture sometimes. I guess your downfalls, your challenges, your like your failures, your battles, they're all part of like this big puzzle that you're solving, which is life. And I guess they're all like small pieces of the puzzle. But if you do not you know live those moments, maybe your puzzle's never over. There might be always some empty piece in your life, and like I guess wait, actually wait, I'm gonna rephrase this. Okay, guys, like all like your battles, your struggles, and your failures, they're all like small pieces of the puzzle, of this big puzzle called life. And I guess like if you do not relive those moments, you may just not be living life entirely. Yeah. So one thing that's always allowed me to focus on like the right things, or to focus on like the more positive things of life, is to think about the bigger picture. Because once you think about the bigger picture, you think about what's going to make a difference 5 years from now, the like things that irritate you in the short term, or like make you feel low in the short term, actually just adding up to your long term future.
Yeah, and I think life is like a story, right? So there's no story you've ever read where everything goes perfectly. It's you have these little things that go wrong, and then you change your mind, and then things don't turn out how you expect. But that's what makes life interesting, right? Like if everything always went perfectly, you'd run out of things to do. You get bored.
Yeah.
But you
No,
have these different challenges, and then you find your way, and then that's what makes it interesting. And like, what like for your story right now, right? It's interesting to hear your story where you didn't know exactly what you wanted to do at the beginning. You went into different things, and you realized actually I like this more. Whereas if it was just like I knew exactly what I wanted to do, I did that. Story's over. There's no story.
exactly. And it's so funny because I guess like my parents come from a generation where they picked one job, did that job for 50 years of their life, retired after that, and built enough savings to run a family. And I guess they came from that generation. But I guess we come from the generation where we have that flexibility to innovate, or like we have that flexibility to kind of go out, live passions. Because I guess like the generation that at least my parents came from was a generation of survival, where you were just building a lifestyle to survive. I guess now we've reached a space where where we've where technology has boomed so quickly that has allowed a lot of people to innovate and think about what the world could actually be. And I think we've entered that phase of innovation and like global technological expansion. And I guess that's allowed a lot of people to be entrepreneurs versus like employees as well, or content creators versus like just like attending a normal 9 to 5 job as well. So I guess like that shift has really like kind of driven me to be like, it's okay if you're jumping jobs, it's okay if you're jumping between like careers, it's okay if you're like doing things. I'm figuring it out. Like I'm 24, 25 right now. I was 22 when I graduated college. It's okay. There's no 22-year-old. Actually, there are many, but no, not many 22-year-olds are like financially sustainable. Not 20 many 22-year-olds have like figured it out in life. It's okay. I'm figuring it out. And I guess in a couple of years, it just the whole story just came down to this is what I wanted to do as a child. I guess like world has made like a three like the globe has made a full 360, or like my life has made a full 360, and I've come back to like actually doing what I wanted to do as a child. So yeah, now I guess like it may change 10 years from now, but I guess for the next couple of years, this is.
I think that's a really good point there because we keep changing. So even if you think you've got life worked out right now, in a few years' time, you might, like you said, decide, actually, I really want to do the business side rather than the acting side. So it's kind of, you always got to check in with yourself and work out what actually matters to me right now and act on that, because it's quite dangerous for people to think about, I'm going to stay exactly the same in 10 years' time, because it could be completely different. Like, I have no idea if in 10 years' time, I'm still going to be writing or still doing podcasting or anything. But what I know is right now I'm enjoying this and I get to speak to people like you. And as long as I'm enjoying it, then I'm going to keep doing it.
Who knows? You could probably be a yacht owner, for the matter of fact. You could probably like run like an international business online. You could probably make the next Amazon. Who knows, right? I guess there's one popular saying that's always like makes me think that it's okay not to be stuck to what you're always doing right now, which is the only constant is change. And we are living in a world where everything's changing consistently. So yeah, be like, I guess like be present and like be in the moment, and it will lead you to the next opportunity.
Yeah, and I think as well too, like so for me, it's been about 10 years since I left university, and I think about how different the paths that people have taken are. Like, you'd never expect it, right? Most people I went to university with would never expect me to be doing a podcast or to be an online writer or to have the views that I have. So it's quite easy to think about people. We can put people in boxes sometimes, and we can put ourselves in boxes. We think this is who we are. In reality, like, we're much more than that, and there's so much we're able to change and to be flexible, and to find new things that make us happy.
I love what you said, because I believe the human potential is enormous, and sometimes we are limited to what we do by the profession that we choose. But who says that this is what you have to do for the rest of your life? Like, where's it written? Which person has said that if you only do this for the rest of your life, you will be living a sustainable career? Who cares? 5 years from now, you can switch roles. Like 10 years from now, you can switch roles. It doesn't really matter. Tomorrow, you can switch roles. It really doesn't matter. As long as you're able to, survive in life, make enough money for you to be able to like, fulfill your basic necessities or your luxuries if you have any, and you're able to live like a happy, sustainable life. That's all that matters.
It's been amazing to talk to you today, Rohit. Where can the people listening find out more about you and what you're up to?
Well, so I guess I'm very, very, very active on Instagram. It's called Junior J2. I would absolutely love to connect with people. Please do drop a DM if you do like my work. Please do follow me out there. It would be great to connect with some people. If you've heard this podcast, please do mention it as well. But yes, would love to connect with as many as people out there listening to this podcast. And I definitely want to give a huge shout out to my man Amardeep, who's sitting like in London right now, and I'm sitting in Bombay right now, and we're connecting over this call. But a huge shout out to him. Absolutely love the purpose of this podcast. I think more than just Varun connecting us together, the purpose of this podcast really drew me, to like wanting to do this. So thanks for taking this initiative, and thanks for having me here.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure to talk to you, honestly. But the thing I finish off with is, what's one small thing that's brought you joy recently?
Okay, well, I guess like the most recent thing that actually happened was I'd gone back to Pune for a couple days. The day I was leaving, there were a couple guests that came over, and my mom had invited them. They were actually coming over for the first time, so we had never met them in the life in our life. They had never met us in our life. They were coming over for the first time. We just knew each other because me and their daughter was connected, like through some way or the other. And so they're just coming over for a quick breakfast and they're having a chat. And I guess like when I met them for the first time, they're like, "Oh, I've seen this guy somewhere. I've seen him on one of these dance videos. You're like I'm a huge fan of this guy." And I guess like that sense of that sense of small interaction just brought me a lot of joy, because when you're creating so much content and you're always in the studio, you're always in front of the camera, you don't really see if like this is making a real impact or not. The only impact that you get to see is through comments, and that does give you that sense of instant gratification and that instant success or that instant joy for like maybe like a day or two. But then you don't really see if this is actually making an impact on someone for the long term, or like do they actually remember you, do they actually remember your content, or do they actually remember who you are, your profile, or do they recommend your profile to a couple of other people to watch? When instances like this happens in real life, it just everything. Because I guess like after working on the film, which is being an assistant director to Karan, I've not had the opportunity to create as much content. I think in the past 8 months I might have created like 3 or 4 videos, which is very low. I should create about 6 to 8 videos a month. I think that was like the pace I was going at before. So I guess like just knowing that when you're like still so inactive on Instagram and you're focusing on like the film career, you still have people that actually remember your work that happened in 2019. And I guess like just knowing that made me feel happy, and made me just brought me a sense of joy. And I was just happy to know that someone actually still remembers you and your work.
If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, I'd love it if you could leave me a 5-star review. It really helps to get the message out further. Wherever you're listening, it would be awesome if you could subscribe and to share on your social media channels. If you want to see more of my work and advice, you can find all of the links in the show notes. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you have a lovely day.